Are you ready, guys? Are you ready? Okay, guys, so welcome to the interview once again in Wrocław and once again a great crowd-rocking show.
It's good to see you. It's good to see you again, my mans. You see, this is Kuba right here. I know my mans, man. He go way back with dope D.O.D, man, since 2013.
I think so.
13, right? I think, yeah. It was figure, at least.
It's like I don't even count how many concerts do we...
Do the math. Do the math.
So, but now in a different environment, because, you know, rocking after the material with Swan, which was a surprise. It came out on Valentine's Day, but from what I know, it was ready way before that, right?
It was, well, actually, I mean, to be honest, like, still for an album, I think this was a pretty short notice, terms of working, you know? Like, I think we started working on the whole album starting in December, right? When was it? No.
We were working on tracks a little earlier than that, but we dropped the first single in December.
But I think we started working in like September or something, right? Something like that. Anyways, I'm getting a little lost in the details, but that doesn't matter.
From what I know, we all met at hip hop camp, and I think that somewhere was the beginning of that whole project.
Word up. Yes, that's true.
Facts.
We actually, I mean, you know, we've been talking with Swan for.
That's right.
We've been talking with Swan for a little bit longer. You know, he had the concept in his mind.
He told me a little
And
bit
as well,
about that.
you know, my girl Keo Kill as well. She had the idea as well. She was telling me for years, like, you guys got to work with Swan. Like, Swan is her all-time favorite. So she told me, besides dope D.O.D, without being said, but of course, like, she told me many times, like, I really would love to see this. And I think a lot of people in Poland as well would love to see dope D.O.D working with Swan. So hell yeah.
So
Made it happen, man.
So we made it. So, changing the topic. So, what's trending on Twitch right now? What's trending on Twitch right now?
Oh, what's streaming on Twitch right now? Man, actually, we just finished Horizon Zero Dawn, which is an excellent game, by the way, man. Many shout-outs to Guerrilla Games. But we are actually looking into playing a horror game next. So we were thinking about Outlast, Outlast 2. Oh man, I'm ready to get freaked out, baby. Let's go.
How did you actually get? I will actually, because he's doing all the talking. I will maybe get to your skits. So how did you actually get into the whole thing with Twitch? You know, because I know it's popular for younger generation rappers in the States, but not in Europe so much. So how did you come up with the idea to start doing it?
I mean, I'd give some credit to one of our close friends, you know, who works behind the scenes with us, and who's also like, you know, our web guy, internet guy, you know.
So shout out.
We could give the anonymous alias Power Gin.
Power Gin. Big up Power Gin.
But
love you, baby.
You know, he knows we game a lot in our spare time. And I think it's not really age related as far as whether it's trendy or on Twitch or some shit, because I mean, motherfuckers that were fucking teenagers in the early 90s, they gamed already, and we were fucking 5 years old in the early 90s, you know what I mean? So we're not dinosaurs gaming, you know? We're part of that gaming generation. And
hey, I'm telling you right now, this man right here, he's a fucking professional in Rocket League. I'm telling you, Fortnite as well. But I'm telling you, anybody out there, challenge my mans to a match, and me as well.
I'm down for
Rocket
that
League,
yeah,
I swear he will beat your ass,
We don't fuck
man.
around. We don't fuck around. That's
Man,
facts.
it's football mixed with cars, and he knows about both, man. What you want me to say, man? He will kill your ass, and I'm gonna be there laughing.
So, what was the first game ever that you couldn't stop playing?
Ooh, like first good game, you mean?
I mean, like, going way back.
Okay.
We can go, to the times of Super Mario and Contra.
Well, actually, it's funny because Super Mario, I think for a lot of people, Super Mario was probably one of the first. But when it comes to something that really was close to my heart, I gotta say, maybe something like Tekken or Mortal Kombat, you know? Like, when I was really young and I just saw that shit for the first time, I remember seeing Mortal Kombat because one of my friends, I had two friends, they both had Mortal Kombat. One had it on the Nintendo, one on the Sega. The one on the Nintendo, he had the censored version because Nintendo censored Mortal Kombat. So it was no blood and shit. And then I played with my friend on the Sega. and then bum, 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 motherfuckers was punching. You saw blood coming out. You saw the fatalities. I was like, whoa, what the fuck is this shit? So that's the first time I can really remember being blown away by a game. When I saw my first fatality in Mortal Kombat on the Sega, baby.
And Skids, changing the topic so I don't ask the same question. So, keeping it still in the games, maybe movies. If you would be able to pick one game and you get that magical phone call and somebody tells you that, hey, I need a title track for that video game. Which game would you choose? And why, of course?
So sorry, repeat that question.
If somebody calls you and said, hey, you can record a title track for any video game ever produced, which game and why?
Okay. Ooh, that's tricky because I've pictured our music. Yeah, I've pictured our music fitting with a lot of games. You know what I mean? Like you could go into more racing kind of aspects, but you can go into shooters. I know a lot of motherfuckers online, even from FaZe Clan and shit, did compilations with what happened and shit underneath it, like popping motherfuckers and shit. So I definitely would think of a shooter, you know, something like Battlefield, or you know, something that goes hard. Call of Duty. Call of Duty.
I think definitely Call of Duty.
I can imagine that, you know, getting a headshot and then you hear what happened.
360 sniper scope.
But I would also picture it with, you know, like some more cinematic kind of shit. You know what I mean? Like a horror game, you know, like on some Silent Hill kind of shit with some more spooky overlays and, you know. I mean, yeah, we fuck with that shit too. Yeah.
Going back to music, the tempo recently got a little, or I would say more and more higher, right? You know, you didn't put out so many albums, and this year, you know, I mean, the last year and this year, your album, then the album with Swan, is that like a second youth for you? You know, that you're doing more and more music right now?
I mean, you know, the more and more I'm looking at artists as well that we look up to, you know, like artists like Onyx, for example, you know. I mean, Onyx, they've been there since the early 90s, and they still on stage to this day, rocking motherfuckers' heads off, you know. And so as long as I see them still rocking, you know, I'm like, I think we're gonna be doing this shit as well for a long time, man.
Sometimes I feel that I think that the snow goofs have some magic and potion, because everybody they start cooperating with, then the guys start working more and more and more.
But then it's a big family, man. Shout out to Snow Goons, shout out to Onyx, Snack the Ripper, 100 Mad, Gold Miners, Simon Ruthless.
Yeah, and what you said about like the second youth, because you were talking about the second youth kicking in, you know. I feel like Onyx, like I look at them and I see second, third, fourth, fifth youth kicking in, you know. Every 10 years they come with something new and fresh again, yet they keep it Onyx. So, you know, I salute that first of all, and second of all, like, I know dope D.O.D, we just as them, you know.
Hey, you know, we all know that Sticky Fingers is actually a vampire, right? So
yeah.
So,
and I'm his son.
Walker, so.
The Warlock.
And I'm his son.
So that's where you get the energy. The energy is still there. You cannot imagine, you know, you can rock the tracks from What Happened, from Ugly, from the new album, and the crowd still knows it. When you go to other countries, like, you know, because we know the energy in Poland is huge, but when you go to other countries, is it similar?
Oh yes, yes.
Yeah, always.
It's like a certain crowd or some shit, you know, that is attracted to us, from hip hoppers to more alternative people.
I wonder why.
You know, yeah, but I'm just trying to say, like, it's a big mix, you know, and I think that goes for like a great breeding ground. Also, girls love it, you know. It's not only like a sausage fest. You know what I mean? Chicks dig it. I think that's important shit, you know. That's like my homies Limp Bizkit and them, you know. They knew how to cater to doing some raw shit, but keeping it sexy at the same time. You know what I mean?
I agree with that, and I also think that, you know, like, I mean, rap in Europe is not to be underestimated. I mean, you know, even though, I mean, we're as big as America, you know, as a continent, but America's, of course, one country with one language, and we got, in Europe, we got, like, you know, 24 different languages, you know, but still, I feel like Europe is on a come up, and in every country in Europe, there's a scene blossoming. And there's a lot of people, you know, making big steps and taking the scene basically to another level, you know. I mean, when it comes to Italy, you got Salmo, you know, in Spain you got Natos y War, you know, and just name them, you know, like, but
UK is blowing.
at the same time, I feel like we are kind of like the band that, because we are, you know, from Holland, but at the same time we rap in English. We kind of like, you know, we connect with everyone and we put Europe together. I feel like we are the ones that put Europe on the map as a whole, you know, but you got all these different kind of acts in Europe, you know, and every country taking over. And I feel, you know, Europe is not to be underestimated, y'all. Europe is on the takeover, and Dope D.O.D is the ambassador.
You just answered my two next questions. Thank you. Yeah,
Bam, baby.
because I was about to ask about Salmo, about Wombat, who is on the album with Swan, right? This is something that I was. Do you, since you rap in English, do you feel that you are, let's call it like European rap ambassadors?
Yeah, I mean, like my man just said, we rep for Europe in that sense, because we connect with a lot of different countries and we fuck with the rappers in those countries. Same time, we have genuine English roots, so that's why we also connect with native speakers. You know what I mean? We're not on some fake, you know, we copy the language from movies and other songs we listen to. We have a vocabulary, you know. When I write my shit, I'm very serious about being original, you know. We take the craft of rapping real serious, and I think, I mean, I'm not trying to claim any trophies or pat my own shoulder. I hate doing that shit, but as far as representing for that real hip-hop shit, I will do that to the death, man. Rest in peace, Sean Price.
I was wondering, after hearing your Do Not Enter album, do you sometimes maybe have the feeling, or maybe I'm wrong, that you know that what you're doing, like your overall looks, the show you do, that sometimes it gets in the front of the lyrics? That you know that's your that the whole image you're building, that people might get attracted more to the image, not listening to what you have to say.
Well, I mean, I feel like, to be honest, I feel like, I mean, when you're a natural artist, I feel like both parts come natural. I feel like both parts as well. It's kind of like a sort of a natural balance that you create within yourself. Because I think having an image and your lyrics, it's two different things, but at the same time, it's kind of like, you know, the same side of a coin. You know, it's you know, it's part of the same thing. But I feel like, you know, well, it's hard to say, but I feel like both count equally as much, because I don't think one is more important than the other. You know, because especially when we get on stage, to me, it's more important to rock the crowd than for them to listen to my lyrics. Because if they would listen to my lyrics purely, it would be more of a show like this. Okay, I hear what you say. Okay.
The beat goes first.
But if they want to go crazy, it's more like this. I don't give a fuck what you're saying, but I love it. And I appreciate that more than, you know, people listening to lyrics, you know?
I think if you break it down to your question, I think live, it might be true because our sound is so booming. We have the peaceful parts too and the crowd cooperation and shit, but it might overshadow some of the lyrics a little because it's very explosive, it's very, you know, animated, so people are more caught in the whole storm of the music. But I think on wax, we are fairly appreciated, you know, for being lyricists. Like, yeah, I mean, if I look at the people's comments, if I look at the people that come to me, the people that rate me in my close circle, whether it's other artists or, you know, motherfuckers know we get busy on the lyrics. We've always been about that, you know? It's not about just yelling some bullshit, you know?
I would say, I asked that question because I think the one of the boundaries that you actually were able to pass, especially in Poland, because, you know, that's 2 beats.
Hey, yo, 2 Beats, man. Introduce yourself.
That the music and that your music and your energy was the one of the main reasons we were able to jump through the boundaries. That, like, for example, in Poland, people are really close when it comes to music that's not in Polish. And because you give that energy, they don't have to listen, like Jay said, they don't have to listen that much. So I'm thinking that, do you think that might be one of the reasons you have so much success overall in Europe, in different countries, throughout people that don't necessarily speak English?
I think yes, for sure. Because, for example, I mean, we go to any country in Europe.
I think that just counts for English rap in general, though, because it's a universal language.
Yeah, because I think also,
Check it out.
it's kind of like English is kind of like the root of all the hip hop that we do, because that's where it comes from. I mean, it comes from America, But at the same time, any hip hop is for anybody. Anybody can adapt hip hop and make it, his own. So I feel like that's what we did, but as well, that's what we reflect upon others in Europe, I feel like a lot of people that have been inspired by Dope D.O.D, they kind of felt like we did, I feel like we can kind of like take this American shit as well and make it our own, and kind of tell our own story with it. And I feel like we inspired a lot of people in Europe to do that as well, so that's why I also feel like, yeah, we're kind of like ambassadors, like we made hip-hop blossom more in Europe. But also,
I totally lost the question.
But also, we made people feel more comfortable with just being them as well, and just repping where you come from and what you do,
It's a little bit of irony, right? That you say that it's all based in America. That you started doing.
I'm not saying it's all based in America. You don't twist my words.
I mean that it comes from America. That's what I mean.
Born in America. That's what I said. It was born in America, but eventually hip hop is for everyone. Because hip-hop comes from the struggle, but if you got a story to tell, then hip-hop is, for sure a way to tell your story. And it doesn't matter where you come from and which part of the world. And that's kind of what my point was, that's why hip-hop is very big in Europe now as well, because everybody got a story to tell in every country,
And I would say probably also because if you don't dig much into music, you actually get better hip-hop in Europe than you get in the States if you only go through the mainstream rap, right? And we know that zombie rappers, etc., that you actually also talk about a lot about what's going on, and I think especially it's more about you.
Yeah, I mean, to each their own, like I said, like, people know what's up, I feel like my criticism to the more modern crowd and the more modern rappers is do your history, it's not on some lecturing, complaining kind of shit, but I feel, there's generations that did this shit, that came with ill shit, and you ain't gotta make it all about you, you know what I mean? That's what I hate about modern rappers, it's about, I don't know, it's about giving people a little more substance than making it only about you, and that's the craft for me. So I'd say, shout out to all the real rappers that still do that, but there's a lot of them out there, so I'm not gonna complain, on some hip hop is dead or, shout out to many. I mean, I didn't even need to name names.
I like what he said, and I agree, because I think history as well is important. And lately I've been watching this documentary on Netflix. It's called Hip Hop Evolution.
It's dope.
I feel like everyone that's, it doesn't matter if you're into trap, straight up boom bap, or any type of hip hop, you need to watch Hip Hop Evolution on Netflix, man. Because me as well, it made me appreciate hip hop.
Shout out to DJ Paul.
Big up DJ Paul, 3-6 Mafia, the best to ever do it, man. Nah, but I feel like everyone, it's definitely important to know where hip hop came from. If you are a part of it, like you gotta kind of like, know your history, represent your culture, So go check that documentary out, man. Y'all gonna love it, man. I swear, you're gonna appreciate the old school is way more.
That's dope as fuck.
Wow, this interview got really serious, looking at our interview. Okay, so think about, we know you always rock the crowd get crazy, but if you would think about, the craziest things from recent, tours that actually, not you, that you didn't, because you always do crazy things, but what the fans did, that actually stuck in your mind. What happened and where?
Tonight?
No, I mean like, let's say, the concerts in any country, do you remember what the fans did that was really crazy?
A crazy event with fans?
It's too many, man.
I'm trying to think.
I was riding on a little fucking dinghy, like a little boat, a rubber boat, 20,000 people. I mean, we've been
pouring liquor out from the boat.
Pouring liquor
like
from the boat.
Oh.
a lot of shit happened, man. We've been on the road with Korn. We've been smoking with John Otto at home. We've been chilling with Fred Durst and the whole gang. I mean, there's too many things to name, man. I can't pick one.
And if you pick something that the fans did, that was really like, you know,
Fucking Juggalo Fest.
Oh yeah.
Shout out to ICP, the fucking homies.
Whoop, whoop.
Shout out to the Juggalos and Juggalettes and the whole family. But that fucking festival and those people there, go watch D.O.D TV on YouTube. We documented some of our tour life. You can see real life shit in there. You got motherfuckers walking around advertising drugs. Like, right out, you know? It's like sort of like a crazy carnival market kind of. There's wrestling, people are driving around in golf carts. People are selling shit from little stands. Some are pole dancing somewhere. There's a main stage where the artists perform. And it's just one giant, crazy, muddy, bloody, drugged out fuckfest. And everybody's yelling and spraying shit. I'm not fucking shitting you. This is the craziest fucking festival on earth. Shout out to ICP.
Yeah, I remember Swan being there and talking what he saw, and he had a similar feeling that, you know, if you'd be afraid to be somewhere because the crowd gets too wild, that's probably there.
It's wild as fuck, man. And shout out to Axe Murder Chop. Shout out to Young Wicked. We were smoking the dab on that tour, man. Shout out to CC.
CC Rock, baby. I see you.
Classic shit, classic shit.
Do you ever have maybe a thought that, you know, after you release an album, what would happen if that would be your last album? Do you ever actually think about that, or, you know, right now you don't have those thoughts?
Like I said before, Onyx, man. As long as Onyx still going, I'm gonna keep going, man.
I mean, but you know we have to go longer, right?
Wait.
But you know you have to go longer because you're younger, right?
And you know, in the future, it's gonna be even more credible if you rap when you're 50.
OG shit. Nah, but I mean, I think it's something you can't predict. You could quit tomorrow if life so happens to show you that path for whatever reason it might be. You never fucking know. It can be the same way with a person that you thought was your friend, and they fucking do some shit to you, and you realize, wow, all these moments, all that effort, all that shit was for nothing. Fuck it. I can be the same with this rap shit. Fuck the world. It's not that deep, man. I do this shit because I love this shit, you know what I mean? And if I don't love this shit no more, we'll notice. Maybe it's tomorrow, and I'll tell all y'all, fuck y'all.
It's possible not to love it.
No, I don't think it's possible not to love it, but it's possible to want to walk a different path in life and still love something, but letting it go. It's getting too deep again, you see?
Man, we sinking into the Loch Ness Ocean. The Loch Ness
You
Lake.
know, it only means we'll get it.
You know, I gotta drop the youth some jewels too, right? You keep telling us, you know, we deep in the game. Is this our last album? So before I'm out, you know, I gotta give them some, you know, some wisdom.
We're getting older, like we said. We know each other for a lot of years now, you know. So we need to go like old grumpy man right now.
Oh, no. I'm telling you right now, dope D.O.D is gonna be here.
Jay's already losing hair, you know.
No.
Man, but it's youthful forever. That's the spirit,
That's
man.
it, yeah.
Fuck yeah. I mean, that's what doing what you love doing is in the first place. I think all the people in the world, whether you rap, whether you play sports, whether you are an engineer, whether you're a truck driver, I don't give a fuck. If you love that shit and you're a master at it, you'll live life to the fucking fullest. Know what I mean?
It does not matter what you do.
And that keeps you young. All those people that lose their hair and get old and get a heart attack.
You do
it's
something
usually-
you do not love.
You know what I mean? Yeah, if you got love for what you do and shit, you'll
You
make
won't
it.
last forever.
You'll make it.
Look at fucking Jamie Foxx. Jamie Foxx, right?
Shout out to Jamie Foxx, man.
Django. How old is he? Look at Samuel Jackson.
He's older than Cole.
But they do what they love, so they, will be themselves forever. We will always love them, and look at them now. They still kind of seem young, actually. And that's what I'm gonna be. I'm gonna be like Sam Jackson in 50 years.
No.
Still doing this shit, still looking fit, baby.
Nick Fury must be around until till they make Marvel movies. So
You can't stop Nick Fury. By the way, no spoilers, because we're going to watch Infinity War and Endgame soon. I watched it already, but
What can I say? I haven't kept track of all them fucking comic movies,
No
but I'm
spoilers.
catching up. I'm catching up to all my nerds.
So video games. Do you think you would like, for example, to participate in producing a video game? What type of video game you would like to do? You know, because I know you're right to it. You know.
definitely feel like I would be involved in some Metal Gear Solid type shit, mixed with some PT. PT, yeah, remember PT?
I feel you,
The new
yeah.
Silent Hill that was never made.
I mean, there's so many directions. The
That's,
first
but
thing
that's dope D.O.D.
First
Dope
thing that
D.O.D.
springs to my mind though is some like Last of Us, Uncharted, Horizon Zero Dawn, Soul Reaver, something along the lines of an epic, you know what I mean, adventure story. I could picture us making that with like this main character, third person, super action. You know, those are the type of games that both of us have always loved too. You know, I'm a frantic, competitive online, you know, obsessed Fortnite, Rocket League gamer, but the real story gaming, nothing beats that, you know, like a classic story game, to me at least, you
But
know.
we definitely gonna be shooting some shit.
Shooting some shit, hacking some shit, hunting some shit.
Bow and arrow, some shit. Wah. Yeah.
You just reminded me of Soul Reaver. Wow, that was a game.
Right? What was that shit?
Yeah, it was.
If you know about Soul Reaver, you a real nigga.
So,
Raziel, baby.
speaking of stories, you know, you were preparing your album, released it in the same time doing the album with Swan, released it. So, do you have already other projects already done and waiting to be released, or you
Yes, we've been hitting the studio hard lately. Like, I won't give you the whole scoop, but I'll tell you it's with one producer, and it's, you know, it's gonna. We already got like 10 tracks or some shit, you know, in the oven. So we'll just keep banging them out. And I won't tell you about the features yet, but it's gonna be lit. It's gonna be crazy.
I was one of my questions.
Take it back.
One of my questions was also supposed to be about the US features, because I'm thinking that you actually, you know, quiet down on that, you know, coming from Sean P, of course, but then working with Redman, working with Cool Keith, you know, all those really big names, and then besides the album with DJ Paul, it got a little bit quiet, you know. Was it intentional?
The Shotguns album with Onyx, of course, and we had System Reboot. System Reboot was
We
like.
did a whole album, goddamn.
Yeah, but
Goddamn, man.
System Reboot was like more like a mini album with solo tracks. But yeah, like I said, the new project, you're gonna like the features. I ain't telling you what, but it's gonna be lit.
So, was System Reboot actually also mean a System Reboot for you? Because it's something that it looks like, right? That you actually, that was the turning point?
Yes, I mean it was indeed. It was what we creatively felt at the time, like because we'd been through many changes also within our group and shit. You know, Dopey leaving basically, still cool with the dude. You know, he's homies for life with us, but you know he had to take a step back. This life on the road ain't always easy. You know what I mean? And if your personal life ain't easy either, then you know those things can clash. But you know, to all those wondering, Dopey's cool, and you know, you never know what the future holds. I'll definitely tell you that.
He was there on the album with Onyx, so.
So indeed the case. We show people, you know, he's still down with the crew, you know. So anyway, I lost my train of thought here, but word up.
We got a little nostalgic, but we need to end on a future positive note. So, if I could give you one wish, what would you wish for?
Man, what I would wish for right now is for the world to be a safe place, you know, and for this coronavirus to be over.
Word.
You know, like right now, I don't wish nothing for myself, because what I want is, because sometimes, I mean, you know, sometimes it feels like we're living in a zombie apocalypse world, you know, talking about viruses and vaccinations and shit, you know, and how we're gonna get better. So I hope that this shit is gonna get better soon. I heard there's a vaccine being created right now. So let's.
So those graphics with, you know, cities that have the virus, like, you know, welcome to Raccoon City.
Oh, wow, Raccoon City, Resident Evil, yeah, man. But that's what I was saying, man. It's starting to feel sometimes like a, you know, and we travel a lot. I never joke about disease or sickness because it's a very serious thing. And you know, I'm just hoping and I'm just really praying actually that this corona situation is going to get better for the whole planet, you know, because we like to make jokes and fun about shit, but it is serious, you know.
You have to be serious. You have to be serious.
and even if it's old people, people die from this shit, you know. So I mean, man, planet Earth, bless you, man. I hope things will get better soon.
Jay's wish was for the whole world, so you know now you have to pick yours.
My wish is this interview ends. My tour manager calls a cab that is here within 3 minutes, so I can go to the hotel, smoke the rest of my weed, and finally get some fucking sleep.
And that's the end of the interview. Thank you very much.
Dziękuję, Polska.
Thank you, guys.